Welcome back. Today, we're exploring the ultimate fate of our sun. While it's the life-giving force of our solar system, the sun won't shine forever. In fact, scientists have mapped out its entire life cycle, from its current state to its eventual demise. Let's dive into 18 fascinating facts about what will happen to our sun. Did you know that the sun is currently in its main sequence phase, where it's steadily converting hydrogen into helium in its core through nuclear fusion? This stage began around 4.6 billion years ago and will last for another 5 billion years. Did you know that as the sun ages, it will gradually grow hotter and brighter? This increase in luminosity is a slow process, but in about 1 billion years, it will become hot enough to evaporate Earth's oceans, making our planet uninhabitable. Did you know that in approximately 5 billion years, the sun will exhaust the hydrogen fuel in its core? When this happens, nuclear fusion will shift to the outer layers, causing the sun to expand into a red giant. Did you know that as a red giant, the sun will swell to about 100 times its current size? This expansion will likely engulf Mercury and Venus, and potentially even reach Earth, depending on the extent of the expansion. Did you know that the surface of the sun will cool and turn a reddish color as it becomes a red giant? The cooler outer layers will give off a dimmer, redder glow compared to the bright yellow-white light we see today. Did you know that as a red giant, the sun will begin fusing helium into carbon and oxygen in its core? This fusion process will provide a short-lived source of energy, lasting only a few 100 million years. Did you know that as the sun expands, it will lose a significant amount of its mass through powerful solar winds? This mass loss will reduce the sun's gravitational pull, causing the orbits of the remaining planets to shift outward. Did you know that Earth's atmosphere, if it still exists, will be stripped away by the intense solar winds during the red giant phase, leaving our planet as a barren, scorched rock? Did you know that after exhausting its helium supply, the sun's core will collapse into a dense, hot remnant called a white dwarf, while the outer layers drift away into space, forming a planetary nebula? Did you know that the sun's transformation into a white dwarf will mark the end of its nuclear fusion? The core will no longer have any fusion processes, so it will slowly cool and fade over billions of years. Did you know that the sun's planetary nebula, the glowing shell of gas and dust left over from the red giant phase, will only last for a few tens of thousands of years before dissipating into space? Did you know that as a white dwarf, the sun will be incredibly dense, packing most of its mass into an object roughly the size of Earth? A single teaspoon of white dwarf material would weigh several tons. Did you know that white dwarfs are so dense they shine from residual heat, not nuclear fusion? The sun's white dwarf phase will involve it glowing faintly as it cools, gradually fading over billions of years. Did you know that over time, the sun will cool enough to become a black dwarf? Although no black dwarfs exist yet, the universe is too young. This will be the sun's ultimate fate as it cools to near absolute zero. Did you know that as a red giant, the sun's outer layers will spread elements like carbon and oxygen into space? These elements will enrich the surrounding interstellar medium, contributing material for future stars and planets. Did you know that, unlike massive stars that end their lives in supernova explosions, the sun is too small to create such an explosion? Its death will be a gradual, less dramatic transformation rather than a violent event. Did you know that the sun's transition to a red giant and subsequent loss of mass will cause the orbits of the outer planets, like Jupiter and Saturn, to expand? They will drift farther from the sun in the billions of years to come. Did you know that when the sun finally becomes a black dwarf, it will no longer emit light or heat? It will be a cold, dark remnant of its former self, drifting through space as the universe continues to evolve around it. We hope these 18 facts about the fate of our sun helped you envision the journey it will take over billions of years. From a brilliant main sequence star to a dim black dwarf, the sun's life cycle will leave a lasting impact on our solar system and beyond. If you found these insights intriguing, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more cosmic explorations. Let us know in the comments which fact amazed you the most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.